Let's be real. The African mentality is not just about the skin color, but rather, it's a set of beliefs that has been passed down from one generation to the other. Most of such beliefs were born from colonial trauma and then the instincts of an African to mostly be in a survival mode. But now, the sad reality for a lot of young people is these sets of beliefs are keeping them stuck. Probably you are not sure as to what some of these mentalities are. Here are a few of them. Instead of dealing with reality and fixing things, most Africans will say, that problem is not my portion. When things are not going right, ask a young African. Instead of the person coming up with a solution, they would rather say, as for me, I am managing. And by doing this, there is no sense of urgency as to even find a solution to the problem the person is going through. Another one is when an African is going through a problem, instead of looking for a fix, mostly what we will tend to do is to say stuff like, oh, I'm waiting for someone to come and help me. So instead of us trying to take the step and do something for ourselves, we are always there trying to wait for people to come in to offer aid and support. Another one is instead for people to take the bold step, invest in themselves, and work on building wealth for themselves, they rather say money is just for those who are rich and then money is just for those with connections. So basically, the African mindset is settling, waiting, and then blaming. So the average African, instead of taking action, or rather sit and then accept whatever situation they are going through, begin to wait for aid, and then things doesn't go their way, they tend to blame instead of going ahead to take responsibilities for their actions. So another sad reality is this mindset is a mindset that prevents you from building, it prevents people from thinking long term, and it prevents people from looking at other possibilities. This mindset isn't just a harmless talk from people. It proceeds to affect the way we live, and as a result of that, this mindset tends to have a lot of negative impact on young people growing in Africa. One, it kills dreams even before you start. If a young African decides to do or build something for himself, as a result of this colonial mindset, as a result of this African mentality, people tend to make a mockery of the person. No matter how great or no matter how proper the idea is, people will begin to make mockery of the person. Why? Because the average African is not open to possibilities. They think all that we can do is to sit, we wait, people come in and then they offer us aid. So the moment you decide to do something new, right? The moment you begin to do or build something, you see people terming you as this person is too known, others will say all knowing and all that. Two, another effect of this mentality is it keeps us dependent. This mindset has led to how most of the nations are being managed. Instead of people taking responsibility for themselves and looking at other possibilities, all that we do is to sit and wait. So we are always dependent on others. We can't build stuff for ourselves. We can't do anything for ourselves. All we do, virtually every operation, one way or the other, have aid coming in from European countries and all that. And as a result of that, a lot of young people think they can't do and then build stuff for themselves. Even if they build things for themselves, they feel the things they've built is not good enough. So always we are depending on people, we are depending on aid and things like that. Three, this mentality has now made excuses normal for a lot of young people in Africa. So instead of taking action, right, instead of deciding to change stuff, what we do is we always sit and then we tend to blame. So this set of beliefs that have been passed from one generation to the other is now causing a lot of harm to young people in Africa. That's good. But let me say this. Yes, things are very difficult and things are hard. But blaming alone can't solve or fix anything. You might be thinking, so where from this mindset? Where from this mentality? This mentality didn't start with us. It was somehow planted through colonialism, and then it had been reinforced as a result of the poverty nature of a lot of people in Africa. And now it had been passed through from one generation to the other through fear. So in most African homes, all the parents want their young ones to do is to survive. So the advice are, go get a job. All that they want you to do is to be at a position where you have something to do. The moment you begin to do something small, that comes with a little risk, then it means you are doing something that you are not supposed to do. So a lot of young people in Africa now are scared to take risks, even with the simplest of decisions and simplest of stuff. So even at stages where people are supposed to learn how to take certain decisions and all that, you are being prevented from even taking the simplest of risks. And as a result of this, now a lot of young people in Africa are kinda in a survival mode. So basically, we are settling for less, not taking any risk. just going in there and then continuing with the routine of sitting down, waiting for people to handle our stuff, and then proceed to also blame people. So even now that there are a lot of tools and there are a lot of opportunities out there for young people in Africa, this mindset keeps preventing a lot of us to take certain bold decisions and certain bold actions that can help transform our lives. But today, as someone looking for you to transform your mindset, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to stay that way. There is a way through which you can change this narrative. So here's the truth. The only way Africa will rise is when we change our mindset, when we change the way we think. So now, let's talk about some of the practical steps as a young person in Africa you can take to help transform yourself and help transform your mind. Number one, stop waiting and start creating. Don't wait for a perfect opportunity. At this point, you should know things are not going to be handed over to you. So what you can do is start small, start building something. In an era where there are a lot of opportunities online, start doing something for yourself. With your smartphone, you can learn a lot of things. You can build yourself in a lot of ways. And then you can help transform things. Enough of sitting idle waiting for things to be handed over to you. It's not going to work. So what you can do is just get something small, start doing it, and then ensure to make progress each time. So with your smartphone, you can even start small business online. You can begin to take little actionable steps, right? You can do those simple stuff. And then by doing that, your mindset and everything will be transformed. You begin to see certain possibilities that are open to you. Number two, value learning over entertainment. When you visit most of the social media platforms in Africa, it's full of entertainment. So we spend hours on gossips, on blogs that doesn't necessarily impact our lives and all that. So what I would suggest to you is instead of spending all your hours on that, spend at least 30 minutes to an hour each day learning a proper skill set that will help you become a better version of yourself. You can start by doing this. Replace 1 hour of entertainment with listening to an educative podcast, going or following an online tutorial, trying to build something that will help you transform and better your life. 3. Normalize thinking big. The world is now global. So you see, we are not in an era where we are competing or we are dealing with people in just our communities and our localities or even our country. We are now dealing and competing with people all over the globe. So if you want to survive as a young African, you can't sit without doing anything. You can't limit yourself to the things around you. Begin to think big. Begin to think about how you can skill yourself to fit into this global community. Now, through your mobile phone, you're able to join groups and communicate with people all over the world. So now the competition is not just the friends in your neighborhood, it's not just the people in your country, and then not just the people in your continent. So now, the little opportunity you think there is, if you are not careful, you end up losing these things to people coming in from different places also. So it's high time we begin to think global and then normalize doing things on that scale. 4. Surround yourself with builders. If your circle is just full of people who complain, then I want to tell you today, it's time for you to upgrade. Work with people who are ready to transform themselves. Work with people who are ready to transform their society. Work with people who are ready to change the narrative and the story. The moment you keep on working with people who don't see things the way you see them, when you limit yourself to people who just look at their confinements, who look at things on a smaller scale, forgetting how global the world has become now, you are not going to improve. So it's high time you surround yourself with actual builders, people who are ready to make changes. You have to work with people who are not just talking but rather taking action. You have to work with people who don't go about complaining about virtually everything. The people you work with has a very keen influence on the things and the life you live. So take note of that. Look for a group of young people who are ready and willing to transform their society. Join online communities. In fact, if there are proper communities in your locality, join them. Look for a group of people who are ready to change the narrative, who are ready to transform their world. 5. Stop idolizing celebrities and politicians. We spend most of our time idolizing and then looking up to politicians to transform and change virtually everything for us. But no matter the African country you find yourself, ask yourself, how many years now since independence? But here's the case, the politicians have not even done the simplest of things they can do to help make the lives of their citizens better. So if you sit down and then expect them to come rescue you, no one is going to come and rescue you. Always remember, you are your own rescue. It's high time you begin to follow people who educate, who inspire, and then who help transform our societies and our communities. See, always remember to put focus on impact, and not just people who are all about fame and then lots of talking. Before I bring this video to an end, if you are ready to change the story, just type in the comment section, "I'm ready to break this mindset." Always remember this. At the end of the day, Africa's future won't be changed by politics alone. In fact, most importantly, African future is highly dependent on how we think as people. So if we really want Africa to grow, then it's time for us to change the way we think. We should be people who build, and then we should be people who are ready to lead, and then explore other opportunities and other ventures. If you like this video and would like to receive more of this, kindly do all to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. My name is Kobina. See you in the next video. Bye.